It's a big day for World of Tanks console. Today's video and update news is going to cover the brand new season, all of the information. So what we've got on the release of this update, we have loads, and I mean loads, of content to go through. We've got brand new season tanks, the tanks that you can actually get straight away, what you're going to have to grind towards level 100 on the season pass. We're going to look through the key cards, we're going to look through the operations. We're also going to look at one of the biggest features of this update, and that is a butt ton of content that was kind of stale, outdated, a lot of old premium tanks that have got reforged in the Reforged Legends blitzkrieg of balance updates on World of Tanks console for PS4 and Xbox One. So as soon as you jump onto your console today, as of the recording of this video and any future time, these will be in full effect. We will go through them in a little bit later on in the video, but we'll cover the main key points surrounding the season and what you can expect when you jump on the game if you haven't already. So, first things first, we have the three new tanks in the form of the T-55A. So that's the original starting World War II mode tank that you will be able to get straight away. This is the German Tier 9 medium tank that has, apparent to Wargaming, excellent gun handling, mobility and turret armor, but of course we'll have a look at the statistics of the vehicle in just a second. So, it does play up to tier 10, of course, because it's a tier 9 premium tank. 5% bonus XP is the only bonus XP or silver or anything that this tank will make, so it will act in the exact same way as a normal tank, except it gets 5% more XP. It has 1750 hit points, which is not terrible, but it ain't great at tier 9 for a medium tank. You've got 750 horsepower, 20 power to weight, which means that it can get up to top speed fairly decently, but it isn't got a maximum top speed that's particularly that high at 50 kilometers an hour, so you'll be able to be mobile, but probably not the most mobile tank within the game. As far as the other things on the tank, you have a 96-degree total traverse speed. If you combine both the hull and turret, which is really, really nice, you'll be able to turn quickly and avoid any light tanks like the EBRs that could potentially be coming into World of Tanks in not too long and yeah, certainly you want to be able to deal with them. So the 96 degrees a second, plus any clutch braking or anything that you want to put on like that, yeah, this tank will definitely not be out-traversed by many tanks within the game. You have 5 degrees of gun depression, which is not particularly the best. 14.25 degrees of gun elevation, which is really not that great, and 221 millimeters of standard penetration, 320 alpha damage, and yes, you do get overpowered premium rounds in this tank at 330 millimeters of penetration. Of course, your HE rounds have 50 and 420 alpha, as with most HE rounds. Accuracy is actually surprisingly good on a tier 9 medium tank. 2-second aim time, 0.33 accuracy base, which can probably go down to probably in the region of 0.24 even accuracy at 100 meters, which is ridiculous when you compare it to something like the T-54, the standard tank, although I don't know if that's got a buff recently. Rate of fire rounds a minute, 7.41 with 8.1 second reload time, which, if you combine it with the alpha damage of 320, give it a total DPM in the region of about 2,600, which for a tier 9 is actually not bad at all. You're going to be able to definitely dish out damage consistently. 320 alpha is definitely nice at tier 9 as well. 395 meters view range mean you're going to be able to outspot opponents, and signal range of 730 mean that you're going to be decent as well. So this tank overall, being a tier 100 reward on the season pass, is definitely something I would grind towards. It is definitely a tank that I would recommend. It definitely looks cool. Yeah, 100% get your hands on the season pass. 2,000 gold. It's the purchase on World of Tanks that is definitely going to be the best thing that you can spend your money on if you're going to spend any money on the game at all. If you're not interested in spending any, then don't. It's not a big problem, and I believe it may even be free with the season pass, but of course it takes a lot longer to get to the tier 100 if you don't have the season pass. As for the other tanks that you get the Object 934, which is this Soviet light tank that you can get in the era of the Eastern Alliance. So this is a Cold War tank. It basically comes in line with the new light tanks that we did a video on yesterday. So if you want to check those out, then you can do. It's a first look at what the tanks might be like in game. Of course, I haven't played any of them in particular. So yeah, just give me a shout as to what you think of these new light tanks. This one plays in a similar sort of style. It looks really nice. It's got a hero skin, the Bolotnik. This one is definitely a tank that I would recommend. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know that it'll be particularly overpowered in the current meta on the Cold War, though, you know, light tanks are pretty much broken on Cold War. You get an extra 60% silver, which is really, really nice. You'll basically be able to get up to that top speed of 70 kilometers an hour. Not that great traverse speed, so you ain't going to be turning very fast. 5 degrees of gun depression, which kind of sucks. 440 alpha damage, which is really, really nice. And you do have 2.3 second aim time, which isn't the best for a light tank, and 0.32 accuracy, which isn't bad. Reload time 7.9 seconds, 440 alpha, gonna bring your total super high for damage per minute. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. Definitely want to get that view range as high as possible and outspot opponents in Cold War, and this is a tank that looks interesting and certainly a bit different to the other light tanks with those smaller caliber guns in Cold War. Now, something of interest, the T-72M1. Now, this is an absolute monstrosity within World of Tanks console. You're going to basically be able to be just overpowered. 550 alpha, 5.94 rounds a minute, which isn't particularly amazing, bringing the reload to 10.1 seconds, but that's about where the bad kind of aspects of the tank kind of go. You've got 60 kilometers an hour top speed forward. You have really, really well angled armor. The upper plate is fantastic. Yeah, the turret armor is fantastic as well. You've basically got 3,000 hit points, which is fantastic. Comes in at the escalation era. 55% bonus silver is going to be really useful for this tank and grinding out tons of silver. Power to weight of 25, which is amazing. That's better than the light tanks and that T55A. It's the best out of all of these three tanks. You can traverse fairly decently for a heavy, I suppose, and you've also got 6 degrees of gun depression, which is fantastic. So yeah, definitely a tank that I would recommend if you can get your hands on it. I think it may be the one that you actually have to purchase as part of the Ultimate Season Pass, which of course is going to cost you around 13 to 14,000 gold, which is what, 50 quid, something like that, £40, or like $60 or $70. So yeah, definitely take that with a pinch of salt, whether or not you want to actually spend that money. But of course, if you are going for that Ultimate Season Pass, you do get the Standard Season Pass with it and quite a few other things, but I don't really ever recommend paying that unless you really want the tank itself. Anyway, moving on, we have Arms Race tank bundles, which of course are something we look at every week. I'm just going to be pretty brief with this. If you want to purchase all of them straight away, the T-72M1 and the Object 934, it's going to cost you 36,000 gold. Never, ever purchase this bundle. It's way too expensive. Yes, you do get the T55A as well straight away, but 36,000 gold, that's what, something like £110. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Would never ever recommend that. T72M1, again, 14,000. To be honest, you can earn these for cheaper if you just do the season pass, and that is where I'd recommend it. Don't go spending your gold on these tanks. 13,000 for the Object 934. You're looking at the T55A will cost you 18,000. Just get to season rank 100 and save yourself the wallet and also the money as well. The T-72M1, if you want to get the tank, it's 13,000 gold, which is ridiculous again, and the Object 934 with just the base version is 11,000. So yeah, take that into consideration. Do whatever you want to do with your own money, but certainly take the opinion that you can get all of them for free, and if you just actually do the Season Pass or the Ultimate Season Pass, then you'll get one of them anyway, so just do it that way if you're going to spend money. Now, Arms Race Season info. What have we got? Well, It starts 24th of August till the 12th of August, October. So you've got 6 weeks to be able to actually complete this season, which is fantastic. You're going to be able to get a few premium tanks as part of the season pass. So you have the German tier 2 as part of it, which is a free reward, along with the Turan, the tier 5, which is meh, and the T55A medium tank as well. They're all free tanks, complete level 100 and beyond. It will give you extra bonuses that are on screen right now, so you'll receive 25% bonus XP, Commander XP and Silver if you reach 24 levels above level 100. So it works in the same way. You know, you get 5 points, that will give you 1 point, or 5,000 XP or something like that, and then that gives you 1 point. You need 5 points to go up a level, and of course if you just complete challenges, they'll give you a set amount of points and that'll get you up levels as well. So trust me, if you play this game consistently, getting these benefits will basically grant you it for the rest of the season. So if you complete it within the first week somehow, being an absolute sweat, then yes, you will get all of these bonuses for the rest of the season. They aren't as good as they used to be. It used to be 2 times XP after you completed the season to level 100, but of course that's gone down to 25%. So not anywhere near as good. If you own all of these tanks already, then you'll be able to get the silver equivalent, and of course, yeah, you'll be looking at these tanks as well. These are the ones if you actually purchase the season pass, so there is tons and tons of premium tanks within this season. This one will give you a Cold War light tank if you purchase the season pass, giving you also access to the Panzer KPFW S35, this tank right here, and then the General T27, which is an amazing medium tank from the Czechoslovakian line. It's premium as well. And then of course the Object 934, which is also the premium tank, which also comes with the Bolotnik skin, hero skin as well. So that is fantastic. And then if you are a big baller and you want to spend money, then Ultimate Pass will receive you basically a commander, Phantom of Fallon, and then you'll also get the Escalation Era T72 M1, the most overpowered of them all, will be the one that you have to pay for. So yeah, definitely a big thumbs down from me in terms of this one being the most competitive tank, and of course it is the one that you have to actually pay loads of money for. Yeah, definitely take that into account when you think about playing this game. World of Tanks Modern Armour Arms Race Season level skips. Never ever ever spend money on the level skips unless you were super close to completing the season at the end of the season, and you'll never be able to actually reach level 100. So if you want to spend maybe 1,000 gold getting 4 levels to be able to get the tier 100 rewards, then it is worth it. But if you are just thinking, I'm going to skip the pass to level 100, trust me, spending 25,000 gold, which is what it would cost you, is not worth it at all. Don't ever do that. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Then of course these are the charts, which I will basically not go through because you're going to not have too much fun. The rewards this season do give you gold, so often you'll actually receive all of the gold that you spend on the season pass back. So in terms of getting your gold value of 2,000 back from the season pass, you usually do in general. Of course, you get loads of premium tanks with it, which make it even more worth it, and throughout the season pass you do get classified keycards and various different keycards which also give you gold back. So that is another key reason to purchase the season pass. Obviously level 55 gives you a confidential, level 70 gives you a classified, and then as you go through further you'll be able to get your hands on more and more content and keycards as well. So usually at level 90 you'll get a top secret keycard which will give you at least 400 gold, I think it is, which is fantastic. And yeah, throughout the season you get these 100 gold drops every roughly 5 levels or so, and of course you do get the 170 gold drops. So yeah, there it is. That is what you can receive from the season pass, and yes, you will be able to get your gold back this season as well, and a ton, and I mean a ton, of premium tanks in total. Now, that was a lot of information about the season. I think it's time to actually move on to the tech tree update. Of course, we got the Cold War Eastern Lights and Tank Destroyers, so if you want to check those out, we had a video yesterday which was rent all over that kind of lines. What tanks you can get is the BMPs and also the SU-120, which is a very interesting tank. It's like the SU-130 PM, but it's kind of more overpowered, I'd say. Then, of course, we had the keycard re-roll sort of thing, whereby basically every so often, usually every month, the keycards get reset back into something else. So what happened previously is there was a set of premium tanks within the keycards. Now what Wargaming do refreshed what premium tanks are in the keycards. So if you want to have a look at that, then I would suggest that you go to the console.worldoftanks.com on the internet and go through them, because I'm not going to go through every single one and tell you which ones are the good ones, because there are far too many, as you can see. If you want to check them out, just pause the video, have a look for yourself. This is for the Class Super top keycard, the top secret keycard. So if you want to look now, I'll pause that here, right there. And then moving on, we have the classified keycard. So these are the premium tanks in it here. And then moving on, we have the confidential keycards, which the premium tanks within those are here. So of course they have a 10% drop rate, so you're very unlikely to actually get the premium tank that you want. So don't go opening them thinking you're going to get a specific tank, because it is all just RNG. Yes, you might get a premium tank, but it definitely won't be, well, it's almost certainly not going to be the one that you specifically want unless you get super, super lucky with the drop rate. Now, of course, finally, we have the Object 268 version 5 earn-up, so that is continually going on, and if you want to be able to pick that up, then yes, just keep playing, keep earning those points, get that Object 268, and of course if you already have it, you'll get the silver value of it as well. WWE Slamdown tanks are still back in the game, so you will be able to get a Macho Man Randy Savage hero skin for the brand new T42, and WWE is back and bigger than ever. So if you want to have a look at that, then you can do in one of the previous update news. Roll call, of course, is still going on till the 31st of August. You can basically get some key cards and different kind of stuff within the game. All you have to do is log on, play one battle, and win, I think it is. Yeah, so you just place in the top 10 XP earners on your team in a winning battle. Of course, long haul is still going on. Get yourself at 75 wins or 75 battles where you come in the top 7. Will give you a random drop of a key card. Of course, the confidential is most likely. Then you get the classified is the next most likely, and then the top secret is the one that you probably won't actually get, but it's probably like a 10% chance of getting a top secret key card, probably like a 25% chance of getting a classified, and then like 65% chance you'll probably get a confidential key card in terms of the drop rate of the actual cards after you complete it, or at least that's what it seems like when I've completed the long haul. So no, it's not worth it if you don't actually enjoy the game or you're just grinding to get the long haul done. Bundles and Camouflage is also on sale right now, so if you want to actually pick that up, then you will be able to. They are basically ridiculously priced in my opinion, but in my personal opinion, some of these premium tank bundles are actually not too bad. Like this one, the T54E2 is fantastic. STG is meh, pretty average / below average. And then you have the Striker Canonian Jagdpanzer Tank Destroyer, which is also a really nice, fun tank to play. Whether it's overpowered, don't really know. It's certainly competitive in the right kind of hands, but for a new player, probably not so much. 12,600 gold. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend some money, maybe you want to spend it on that. Then we have High Power, which comes with the WZ111, which is meh, M48A2 Pattern, which is also meh, and the Vindicator Charioteer, which is also yes, pretty average. I mean, if you're interested in any of those, then you may want to pay 13,550, but for my current opinion, Domination Trio is just better. And then the final tank bundle is Flexible Styles, which comes with the Tiger 217, the Cromwell B, and the STRV M4257, which is a fantastic tank. All of them are actually fantastic. 5,000 gold, definitely a steal if you want to pick up them and play some tier 6. Then, of course, we have the classic picks, which are the Tiger 1 Hammer, the Banshee Comet, and the ISU 122S, which are all fantastic tanks. Banshee Comet isn't particularly overpowered. The Tiger 1 Hammer is really nice, and the ISU 122S is also really nice, but you're not going to be having superb games in the Comet and the ISU, but definitely the Hammer is really good. 9,700 gold, stretching it for me in terms of a bundle if you're going to spend money. And considering the next couple of tanks that you can get this week in terms of the weekly deals, which are 50% off, Wargaming like to start the season off with a bang and an overpowered tank. And of course, the Panzer V4 is back this week, 1,725 gold, and that will be the best 1,725 gold you ever spend on World of Tanks console. 1,725 gold for the most overpowered tier for tier tank in the game. This tank has a tier 7 hull armor with the ability to ram tier 6 heavies for full health and take less than half health damage. In this thing, it has way more hit points than any tier 5 heavy in the game. It also has more hit points than some of the tier 6 heavies in the game, which is just ridiculous, and it's a tier 5. Just an utterly broken tank that Wargaming just keep releasing, and I don't really like it. And then finally, the Dragon Lance and C, another broken tier 8 premium tank, probably the best tier 8 premium tank in terms of if you're a semi-skilled to skilled player. This one has everything: Hesh rounds, you've got the ability to spot and stay undetected, you have the mobility, you've got some bouncy troll armor, which can't really be said for very many tanks in the game, and it only costs you 4,000 gold. This is one of the biggest steals you'll ever find if you haven't already got the Dragon Lance and C. Don't remember to get it mixed up with the Lance and C, which is completely not overpowered. The Dragon is the one that you want, not the standard Lance and C, which you can get, but the Dragon Lance and C, 4,000 gold, 100% worth it if you don't already own the tank, and if you want to spend some money. Of course, if you don't want to spend any money on this game and not support Wargaming, then yeah, I can see where you're coming from. But anyway, moving on to the final aspect of today's video, other than the personal offers, which we'll do right now actually. You get the STRV-81, the King Tiger, and the T-32A prototype. STRV-81 is decent, King Tiger is also fairly decent, and the T-32A is a fun one. It's an auto-loading heavy tank that is the T-32. Definitely none of those I would recommend necessarily going out of your way to buy, but they're not bad options if you really do want to play them. Now, back to the final bit of the video. It is probably the scariest / controversial / potentially game-breaking bit of this update, which is of course the Reforged Legends, a virtual blitzkrieg of balanced updates. That's what Wargaming have called it. I call it the potentially game-breaking update that could really screw around with a lot of tanks that maybe weren't that overpowered, and now they're even more overpowered. So, first things first, what have we got? Well, H Nation has got a ton of premium tanks reworked. There are 70, or we're taking over 50 World War II tanks and modifying them to compete with tanks at today's standards. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the old premium tanks and old tech tree tanks being upgraded, given some boosts, and maybe they'll be more competitive in today's matchup against things like the Dragon, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the first one that we'll kick off with is the USSR, which comes with the IS-3. Basically being given better armor, so no longer will you have the weak frontal armor. You're going to be bouncing off of it potentially more. It's got better aim time and accuracy and a reload, and also has better gun mantler armor, so you won't get penned there as easily. And then of course with the second turret, you basically get that awful frontal armor weak point at the top of the tank from 20 to 80 millimeters, which makes it impenetrable, so it's no longer a weak spot. Reload time now goes down as well, and aim time goes down, which makes this tank probably the most usable it's ever been, especially when you get the 122mm BL9 gun, which is the top one. Just an utterly broken tank now, probably. Definitely going to be testing out a lot of these in the future videos where we go through some of the old premiums like the IS-3A Fatherland. Similarly, you got that turret roof armor, kind of the frontal roof armor upgraded from 20 to 30mm, so no longer will you get penned through the top of the turret in the Fatherland as easily or overmatched. You basically get better accuracy and aim time, which is decent, and turret rotation speed and turret ring armor. So yeah, just utterly bonkers the buffs that they're giving some of these. The IS-4 also gets more ammo, which is super fun, good, definitely needed, 100% was something that needed in the game, just 15 more ammo, meaning that no longer will you have your limiting factor being the amount of ammunition in the tank that you carry. Let's just hope for the FV215B, the British heavy tank, maybe we'll see that get better armour as well. Now, as a second bit, the IS-5 or the Glory IS-5. It's just basically got better armour, better resistances, better movement from turret rotation and movement and rotation. Frontal armour has gone up to 220mm. Armour around hatches has gone up, which means that now you're going to be able to bounce off of your weak points. And that is the key thing that I hate with these upgrades to armour. They're taking out the whole skill about aiming for weak points within World of Tanks. So no longer can you aim for a cupola, which might have been a weak point. Now they're just giving it a flat out armour buff so that it's just ridiculous and level with all of the rest of the armour, to the point where now you just have to load premium and go through the armour using sheer penetration values. Taking out the weak points, buffing the weak points just makes it kind of just a boring game. You end up with this stalemate on corners where heavies just can't pen each other unless they load premium, and then the person who fires premium first basically wins. That's kind of what World of Tanks PC is right now, at least from what I've gathered from playing. Then we have the IS-6 and the IS-6 Black Edition, which was a terrible tank. It's basically got its view range buffed, the ammo has gone up, the mantler armor has gone up, the accuracy has gone down, the reload has gone down, and the aim time has gone down very significantly. And yeah, just everything about the tank is better. Same with the IS-7, you've got all of those buffs. The ISM has also got all of the buffs so that you are basically faster at turret rotation. You've got better aim time, accuracy, blah blah blah. With all of the guns, you're going to be having more DPM. Kiravettes, the KV-5, we've also got all of these upgraded. The Object 212A, which is the artillery, I believe, has now got a buff. It's got a buff. The Object 212A. Are we actually... Okay. Well, artillery buffed. Now it reloads faster, so you'll be taking more damage more consistently. It's got better view range, so now you'll be outspotted by the artillery when you go to try and take it out at the end of the game, because it's sat there with camo and binocs in a bush. Yeah, not very fun. Object 257 got a buff, which is a lot of stuff actually. It's got basically, it can go faster now, it's got better terrain resistances, it can move faster, it can turn faster, it's got better armour. Yeah, just a massive buff. Same with the Object 260. The Object 261 has got better terrain resistances, so now it can run away like a little piggy. We've also got the Object 263. We've also got that kind of actually health burn per second. Oh, so if you get set on fire, now you actually take more damage, and also you get more health, and you also get more turret rotation speed on the Object 263 that doesn't actually have a turret, but okay. Yeah, that will just be how fast you can turn your gun. As far as the 268, it's got a buff. They've buffed the 268. What? The DPM on this thing is going to be monstrous. 850 alpha reloaded in 16 seconds, which can be buffed down probably to like 13 seconds total to do 850 alpha. Take that 4 shells a minute, 850. You're looking at like, oh, Jesus. Just the sheer volume of damage you can deal in the 268 right now. Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to be utterly bonkers. That's probably like 4,500 DPM effective. Maybe somewhere around there, because 12 seconds, 5 rounds a minute, 850 alpha. Yeah, that's just bonkers. Don't know how I feel about that. Of course, let me know in the comment section down below what you're thinking of these. The 268 version 4, they've buffed the lower plate of this, which is just ridiculous. Reload time has gone up. 268 version 5 has got its armor upgrade. They've upgraded the armor of the Object 268 version 5, okay. Object 277's got armor buff, along with the 277's got a buff. That tank was absolutely fine. 279E has got some buffs, so its aim time is better and accuracy, hull rotation speed is better, terrain resistances are better. Object 705 has got some considerable buffs. 704's got buffs. Basically, if you think about a tier 9 or 10 tank, it's basically got a buff, and that's similar for every single tank in the game. If you want to just pause it and have a look, then you can do. I'll just flick through all of the tanks that are involved. Of course, we have the T54A1, which is definitely a very underpowered tank. Same with the T34 Black Edition and the T34 Standard Edition. It's going to be very nice. I think that these buffs are going to bring back out some of the kind of classic premium tanks in the game. Things like the M103 are going to be better now. The tanks like, yeah, it's just going to bring back a lot of the old premiums. I think it's going to be interesting. See what everyone thinks. And of course, let me know what you think about these buffs. Do you think it's going to break the game? Do you think Wargaming have spent enough time actually thinking about these buffs when bringing them into the game? I can tell you that tanks like the Tortoise are now basically dealing more damage with the lower alpha guns. HE shells do more damage. You've also got better roof armor and turret armor and frontal armor. So yeah, you probably won't get just auto-aimed and penned. Things like the FE 4005 now have better accuracy. What? What? Now you've got 950 horsepower, so you're faster as well. Wow, that's going to be fun. Yeah, so please tell me, please, the FE 215B, where is the shells? Where have they gone up from 30? You haven't. Wargaming. This tank has needed extra shells for so long, and I am surprised that it hasn't got it. It may not be on here, maybe they did give it, but they definitely need to give this tank more shells. The fact that it's a limiting factor within the tank, within the game, the tinderbox as I like to call it, though it probably won't get set on fire for as much damage anymore. Yeah, just utterly bonkers. Definitely needs more rounds within the tank. I think it only gets 30 total. Sweden, don't think we'll see too many upgrades except from on the STRV 103 and the STRV K, and Germany will be getting the RU251, which isn't particularly that big of a buff. It's just some small minor changes. So there we go. Those are all of the buffs on this week. What do you think of the buffs? Do you think that they're going to be balanced? Do you think that they're not? Let me know. And of course, thank you very much for watching to this point. Thank you very much to the channel members. And I hope you have a great rest of your week and a great time playing this new update. Goodbye.